Grafton, Wyoming. For those who haven't watched the show before, my name is Kellen, otherwise known as the Crimson Comet.
My name is Lazy Snake, otherwise known as Brady Fulmer.
I'm Prison Mike.
And I am the Bearded Wonder.
I love it. I love that Prison Mike just has resigned himself to being Prison Mike.
Yeah,
He's just like,
I like that you guys use the phrase "otherwise known as."
Otherwise known as. Well, and here's the funny thing. If you look at all of our names, we've got Kellen Hansen, Brady Fulmer, Jason Call, and then Prison Mike. It's not even his full name. We just have Prison Mike. But anyways, we're back today. For those who haven't watched this show before, we are a sports talk show. And we talk about all topics ranging from football to mixed martial arts. And our main goal is to entertain and hopefully make you guys laugh a little bit. We enjoy ourselves during this next hour. We come every Friday or every Monday and Wednesday. And then on Fridays, we do a radio show in the Rock Springs area. Anyways, how have you guys been these last few days? You guys holding up?
I'm holding up real well.
Holding up real well. Jason?
I'm doing fantastic. Just loving life. Got a haircut today.
Yeah, looks solid.
Except I'm starting to get nervous. Like I'm catching up to Kellen in the receding hairline department.
Oh, I'm right there with you guys.
I think you got me beat, Jason, because I still got the yours.
I don't know. You're
I've got the entrances. I've got the entrances, but yours is going all the way.
Yeah,
I still got mine up here.
It's okay. I'm not as bad as Brady.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat all you guys. I'll tell you
we're gonna have to. All of us are gonna have to look.
Uh-oh, Kellen, I can't hear you. Are you talking right now?
Me either.
But yeah,
I think I win the receding hairline contest of the least amount.
Yeah, well done, Mike. Way to hold on to it
for the most part.
Way to hold on to it, my friend.
Hair until he's like 90.
Maybe.
Yeah, Mike's gonna be.
Are you still trying to talk, Kellen? Hello.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Now. Lost you for a second there.
Yeah, that was weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello.
Be careful. We can't get dinged for copyright infringement, Kellen.
I don't think he can hear us.
Hello.
How's it going?
Can you hear us? Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, guys. Some technical difficulties. Kellen's gonna figure out his stuff. We're the sports fans, like we said earlier, and we like to talk sports. While we're waiting for Kellen to rejoin, I'm just gonna do my little bit because I'm super into getting out there. If you haven't already, find us on YouTube. We've got our links on our page. Go watch our channel there. Subscribe. You'll get notifications that way as well. And if you like our videos, it'll help us get on to bigger and better things with our content.
For sure.
So
it looks like we got Kellen back.
Give us one of these. Kellen, can you hear us?
I don't think he can. But
I don't think he can either.
Tons of issues right now, but
we
got a lot of exciting things coming up. A lot of things planned that we're really excited about. Gonna go do some really cool things. So follow us on YouTube.
Yes. While we're waiting for Kellen to join back up with us, still, sorry, he's kind of I don't like to admit this. He can't really hear us right now, I don't think, so we can say it. He's kind of the ringleader as far as getting us going sometimes. So I'm going to try and see what happens here. We've got a few good topics today.
Wait. Sorry to interrupt you, Jason, but before we do it, I'm gonna eat this hot sauce.
Yeah,
at the beginning of the show.
You want to do it now?
I want to do it now. I don't want to have to put it off.
Okay.
So all the audience,
you guys hear me? The whole show after you eat it.
Sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties there.
Kellen, he's going to eat the sauce.
Oh,
If
he's
you
going to
guys
eat the
don't know-
sauce.
Wait,
Yeah,
hold on.
Brady can give an explanation while
If
I
you guys
prepare
don't know
it.
what happened, Prison Mike is a huge Celtics fan. I'm a huge Jazz fan. The Celtics and Jazz played last night. We had a bet on it. The loser had to eat a spoonful of the hottest hot sauce we could find at Walmart, and the Jazz came out victorious. So here Prison Mike goes.
So,
I'm
Mike,
probably
before
gonna-
you eat it, let's see what it's called. Show us the bottle.
I'm probably going to spill.
Don't spill.
El
Don't
Yucateco.
spill, Mike.
It's habanero.
Habanero sauce. Oh, man.
So if you ever see me leave during this this
You know why.
podcast, you know why, because I'm
Mike.
probably crying backstage.
Comment on our post, guys, whether you think Mike's going to lose his dinner or not after he eats this.
I
All right,
probably
Mike.
will.
Here's the thing. You have to stay in the room, man. No wimping out. You got to do the show. The show must go on.
Yeah, just lean right over. Make sure you got a garbage pail next to you.
So if I throw up, do I throw up all over my camera?
Do you have
No,
a
no,
Celtics?
no.
Do you have a Celtics jersey in here? Because that's what you can throw up
No,
on.
I don't. All
I have
right,
a turn I could bring
here we
you.
go. 3, 2, 1.
How'd it taste?
Spicy. Holy crap.
Was it at least good?
Woo!
Yeah.
I tried to swallow it as fast as I could.
That's awesome.
Your throat's going to be burning now.
Oh, it already is, and I already have
Oh,
the
he's
hiccups.
got the hiccups. Oh, man, Mike. Okay,
It'll be
just
fun to watch
endure
Mike
with
take
us.
throughout this.
Oh, man. What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you're kind of breaky, but yeah, I can hear you somewhat.
My sound is not.
All
Oh,
right.
you just went away again, Kellen. I can't hear you.
Again. But while I figures that out, how'd that taste, Prison Mike?
Oh,
How you
you
feel?
know, it didn't taste terrible, and it's spicy, but it's not like the worst I've ever had. So I think
yeah?
I'll survive.
So now
Yeah,
we
we-
know Prison Mike can survive the hottest Walmart hot sauce.
He survived 2 years in Mexico, so I think that was good
Yeah.
preparation for
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
Walmart
I think I'll be
hot
okay. There's nothing worse. I actually had like a habanero chili, like wasn't in salsa or anything, and I didn't even eat the whole thing. I just had a little piece that they cut off of it, and I was bawling and like couldn't eat dinner.
Oh, no.
I felt so sick for the next day. It was terrible. That stuff is spicy.
So I'm thinking next time we go to B Dubs, we need to get a bottle of their like hottest sauce from B Dubs,
Oh, you don't want to do that.
and we'll just use that as our challenge material.
That
I
would
don't
be a
know.
good idea. But
Guys, if you can come up with other things for us to wager on our bets that we do throughout the show, please leave them in the comments. We'd love to see what you guys want to think would be entertaining. We're still trying to figure things out ourselves, so any ideas you have for us would be appreciated. Apologize again for Kellen's technical difficulties. Do we want to wait for him, or do you think we should just get
I think
started?
we should just jump into the first topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the first thing we were going to talk about is something that actually happened today, which I'm sure all of you guys saw at least a little bit, which there were a couple really funny things. The Super Bowl parade, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had their parade, and they were actually on the water, and it looked like they were all on boats. And did anyone catch Tom Brady throwing the trophy over the water to Gronk on a different boat?
Just unbelievable.
Yeah. Imagine if like he would have somehow messed that up and it just sunk to the bottom of that lake.
If I was at the thing and they dropped in the water, I would have dove in the water to retrieve it and then like taken it. I would have stole the trophy.
Of course you would have. No, but I thought that was crazy that he would do that. But thinking about it, you got Gronk throwing the trophy, Tom Brady throwing the trophy and Rob Gronkowski catching it. I think that's pretty safe that they're not going to mess that up, that there's going to be no fumbling in the trophy dropping in the water.
Okay, I just found a great shot of this. I'm hoping. Can you guys still see me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it real quick. Can you see that on the video? That shot right there, it just epitomizes open water.
No,
Just
we can't see it.
Oh man, only Kellen.
I'm pretty
can
sure
do
it has to be Kellen because he's the
You'll-
host.
You'll have to paint a picture with your words.
I mean, he's on the back of his boat, just right in the middle of the bay. Like, if that thing gets dropped, they're not seeing it again. Like, they're hiring professional divers and hoping they find it. And
Yeah,
I don't know. My initial reaction, guys, when I saw that video is, wow, that guy's maybe one too many. He's not appreciating them like he used to.
well, that kind of moves me on to the next thing that happened, and we won't get too into it. But did anyone see that video of Tom Brady? Let's just say he may have had a little too much to drink, and he could barely walk after the thing. There was a guy who was basically carrying him, and he was just stumbling around. So maybe a little bit of that went into the decision to throw the trophy over the water.
I think so. And I have to say, like, of any of the teams I've ever seen celebrate NBA or anything like that, I think the Buccaneers win with the coolest celebration after. I mean, these guys, like, boating down, like, in a bay and river, like, that's awesome. And the fans could come out and join them. Like, that's pretty cool.
I as much fun as that was, knowing how the NFL commissioner is, and the NFL being notoriously known as the no fun league, I'm kind of curious to see if Roger Goodell decides to stick his nose in that business at all.
Oh, I would not be surprised. I am not a big fan of Roger Goodell. I agree that he just doesn't like fun. So
yeah,
but I also agree with Prison Mike that was an awesome, I guess, parade, if you can even call it that, instead of just doing the normal down Main Street in boats. And maybe they did that because of COVID. I'm not sure. Maybe it was safer, kept everyone more isolated, but I really like the idea. And I think it would be cool if they did that in the future, even if there isn't a pandemic going on.
You know, and I think it fit Tampa. It just fit the culture down there. So good for them. I'm glad they're having fun with it.
For sure. Let's move on to our next topic. Let's hope Kellen can join us soon, but we'll just keep trudging through it. There is a little bit of there are a few quarterbacks that are potentially going to be moved around this offseason, just like there are every year. And a couple big names are Carson Wentz as well as Sam Darnold. And I think the Bears are probably the top prospect that are looking for a quarterback, and I know they've looked into both of these guys. Who would you guys rather have as your quarterback? Carson Wentz or Sam Darnold?
I think that's a tough question to answer, Brady, because really, did Sam Darnold ever show us any of his potential with the Jets? Like, did he even have an opportunity? And second is Carson Wentz, did he just have a bad season, or is he trending in that direction? Those are the two questions I think we need to answer as to who we should have. But one quarterback rumor that I just read recently is teams are starting to inquire about Russell Wilson from Seattle. I don't know how serious that is, but the fact that there's even rumors is intriguing to me.
Second is, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm back, baby.
You're back, baby.
All right.
You missed our Super Bowl parade talk.
You didn't get to talk about Tom Brady at all. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, my little USB connector kind of crapped out on me.
Uh-oh.
And so now it's decided it wants to work. We'll see if it'll work, if I can plug it in. Yeah, it's just not wanting to connect right now, so I might.
And he's gone again.
I can't hear you again.
Can you not hear me?
No, I can hear you
just
now.
go without the thing for now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, that's the problem. Is I just the adapter isn't working well. I'll check something else out for the next show. But no, I'm glad to be back. Even though I'm not using my mic or my headphones.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Right now, we're talking about the Carson Wentz and Sam Darnold trade situation, and I posed the question of which guy you would rather have as a quarterback if you are an NFL team. What do you think, Kellen?
Oh, well, and this is a really interesting thing. This has a lot more to do than just ability at this point. One thing you have to understand is that whatever team gets Carson Wentz is going to have to inherit the contract that he just signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, which I believe was a max deal, wasn't it?
It was a big deal. I'm not sure if it was max, but yeah.
Yeah. So Carson Wentz signed a 4-year, $128 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. So whatever team gets Carson Wentz is going to have to realistically look at the fact that they're going to have to inherit that contract, as well as they're risking all of that, knowing that there's a good chance he might not end up being that good of a quarterback. Like, his confidence has been shaken a lot. So honestly, and I know maybe I'm in the minority here, I would if I'm a team, I'm probably looking into Sam Darnold more than I am Carson Wentz at this point. Because one, he comes with a rookie contract rather than a $128 million contract. Plus, I don't think he has the confidence issues that Wentz has right now, and you can kind of mold him. He's young. We haven't really seen what he's been able to do because he's been in a horrible system his whole career. So if I'm a team like Indianapolis or New England, yeah, I'm looking at Darnold probably more than I am Wentz. What were your guys' thoughts?
I said very similar things to what you said, Kellen. I did bring up the rumors of Russell Wilson trade possibilities. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but if it does, I mean, you can forget about Wentz or Darnold at that point. Everybody's going to go all in for that one.
Okay, here's the deal with that. First of all, that has been blown out of proportion, and that's the thing that I think people need to understand. Russell Wilson made a comment that he doesn't like the protection that he's had, and I can understand that. He's been, I think in the last 3 seasons, he's the most sacked quarterback out of any quarterback in the NFL. Right? That Seattle Seahawks offensive line has serious problems. Right? And I
They're
think
like
a lot of it,
Super Bowl offensive line is like.
well, and here's the thing is I actually think a lot of it has to do with scheme. If you look at it, Seattle basically has decided that their offense is going to be let Russ cook, right? So what they're saying is we're going to let Russ throw the ball 40 times a game, and we're going to let him, go back there and sling it downfield to his stud receivers like Lockett and DK Metcalf. But the thing is that's really not Pete Carroll's identity. That really wasn't the Seahawks' identity when they were dominant. They were a lot more balanced. Run a lot more play action to create movement to keep the quarterback from getting sacked. You run the ball a lot more. You run a lot more screen plays. And I think that ultimately that's what they need to do if they want to keep Russell Wilson happy. I think he's happy in Seattle. I think he's just sick of getting sacked all the time and taking the beatings that he does almost in every game.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Mike? You never got a chance to weigh in on this.
Well, as far as the Russell Wilson trade, I'm kind of with you guys. I don't think he's going to get traded. I'd be really surprised if the Seahawks got rid of him. And I think it's kind of a good thing that he's speaking up and saying that he wants a little bit more invested in his front line, because like we're seeing in the NFL and the NBA, a lot of players are getting a little bit more say in what they want. And I mean, it's only fair. He's an amazing quarterback and they have good receivers, but if he's just trying to avoid getting sacked the whole time, it'd be a good thing to invest in an offensive line. And the Seahawks need to realize that that's not just going to help out. Like, it will help out Russell Wilson, but it will also improve their team a whole lot, which is the whole point of sports. And then as far as Sam Darnold and Carson Wentz, I pretty much agree with you guys on that one. If Carson Wentz has a really big contract, you want to be cautious thinking about picking him up or trading for him.
Yeah, as for the Carson Wentz thing, I think Carson Wentz is definitely a better quarterback than Sam Darnold, but I don't think he's like a whole lot better. I don't think he's better enough to pay him a lot more. So I agree with everything that's been said on that. I think you take Sam Darnold if you get a chance, just because his contract has a lot less risk involved and you save a lot of money. So I think we can probably put that one to bed.
I just think what it's coming down to at this point is, are the quarterbacks that are left on the table better than the quarterbacks that are coming in to get drafted, right? Because we're talking right now, I think there are 4 quarterbacks that are going to go in the top 10, right? Between Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, and Trey Lance, there's a lot of teams that are very interested in
Mac Jones in that.
Well, I don't think he can go in the top 10, but I think but just the fact that you got those 4 guys that are probably going to go in the top 10, there's a lot of teams that are wanting to invest in a quarterback right now. And the question is, all right, do I want to go all out on Carson Wentz, or do I want to get a guy like Justin Fields? Do I want to get a guy like Zach Wilson, right? And so I think –
And that would be on a rookie contract. That's not a max deal contract that they'd be paying for him either. So I think Carson Wentz has got an interesting situation ahead of him. You know, I don't think it'll happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is if the Cowboys went after him, because they've shown they're willing to just dump money on quarterbacks no matter how good they are. So
I think they're pretty happy with Dak right now, though. So
I think so too, but I'm just saying.
No,
if it happens,
did you guys not hear that?
what?
Yeah, the Cowboys came out with a promo video for next season, and because Dak is not technically on contract, they left him out of the promo video.
They'd be idiots not to re-sign him, I think.
Remember, they
agent?
They had franchise tagged him, and it left him without an opportunity for next season where he was going to get a big payday. So ultimately, yeah, he's not on contract with the Cowboys right now. Now, obviously, they're probably going to re-sign him, and they'd be stupid not to. But he did hear in their promo video, which I don't know what that means, but Pat McAfee talked about it on his show. I mean, we're looking at, that could be quite the situation going on there too.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should move on to a quarterback that's greater than anyone that's been mentioned so far. A guy named Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke. What a guy. I mean, can I just say this is one of my favorite stories from the NFL season.
Yeah.
Who's Taylor Heineke?
Because this is a dude that – like, do you even know who Tom Brady is? Like,
not really.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know who Taylor Heineke is. You'll have to explain the story.
Mike, for you and the other people who might not know, Heineke is the guy that came in after Alex Smith got hurt in Washington. And basically, I mean, we can say this, he helped get him to the playoffs. Which is something to say.
He almost won the game.
So
yeah, I wouldn't say he almost got him to the playoffs, but he's the one who ignited their offense to going head-to-head with the Super Bowl champions.
And he played great.
Can you believe that the Washington football team gave the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a more competitive game than the Kansas City Chiefs?
That is crazy, but awesome.
Yeah, no. Brady, what's the news on Heineke?
So the reason we're talking about Taylor Heineke is the Washington football team just re-signed him. I'm not sure exactly the contract length. You guys might know that or the money, but he's re-signed in Washington. So Washington liked what they saw out of him. That's not saying he's going to be the starting quarterback, but they at least like him as a prospect.
You always need a good backup.
Yeah, it was a 2-year, $8.75 million extension. So he would have been a free agent. They decided to keep him under contract after that great performance. And you know what? I'm not saying he'll start, but I think he should at least be in consideration for the starting spot. I mean, I think you go into this offseason saying, all right, like we saw some things out of this guy that we really like. Maybe we should give him an opportunity to compete for first team reps. What do you guys think?
It depends on how Alex Smith is doing injury-wise. I mean, when Alex Smith is on form, he's still a really good quarterback. The concerns are can he stay healthy for more than 5 games at a time? So, yeah. I mean, yeah, work Heineke, give him some first-team reps, get him going. But if Alex Smith is on form, I think he's going to start. But at the same time, if I'm Heineke, I look at Alex Smith starting and say, I'm probably going to finish this season.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty valid point. I mean, Alex Smith's a great quarterback, like you said, but he's just with that terrible injury he had anymore. It just seems like he's not going to be super reliable for maybe to play the entire season. So Taylor Heineke should, from what I know about the dude, he should be feeling pretty good that they re-signed him and hope, and he should be hopeful that he'll get to play, which I think he will.
Brady?
So I have a very, very, very unpopular opinion that's probably going to make everyone mad on this subject. I think Alex Smith is tremendously overrated. I have nothing but respect for the guy. I respect him so much coming back from the injury the way that he did. You know, he almost died. He had that injury. But the dude is not a good quarterback in the league. He's able to get by. He's not a bad quarterback. I'm not saying that he's like Mitch Trubisky, but he's not a great quarterback. So I think it'll very much be a competition. If Taylor Heineke plays like he did in that playoff game, I think it'll very much be a competition.
You know what, Brady? That's why I was saying Heineke deserves a shot. Look, this is nothing against Alex Smith. I mean, he's the comeback player of the year. I think he's the comeback player of the century for coming back from what he did. I've never really seen Alex Smith as anything more than just a pretty good game manager.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I feel like even with San Francisco, they kind of went to those NFC Championship games because he had really good talent around him, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And so I honestly, I saw flashes from Heineke that made me think, like, man, maybe this guy should be the starter, you know? Maybe this guy has something that we didn't realize he had. Because he just has a couple different dimensions right now, including mobility, that allow him to make plays that I've never seen Alex Smith make. So, yeah, I agree with you, Brady. I think Alex Smith has always been a little bit overrated. There's a reason why he lost his job to Kaepernick when he did. There's a reason why he lost his job to Patrick Mahomes when he did.
Cool. I didn't think anyone would agree with me. So
I agree with you, Brady. You know, I think we should do a Brady, Kellen versus Mike and Jason fight. Just hash it out.
Seems to be like that a lot.
See, I'm not going to fight that hard for Alex Smith, and we all know the reason there. I'm not going to. So sorry. Okay. Let's move on to the NBA, guys. First question we're going to ask everybody is, what's up with the Nets? On a 3-game slide right now. What's going on there?
Mike, what do you think?
Well, I saw today that the Nets are 7-6, I believe, since James Harden has got there, which is just over 500. It's not too bad. But considering all of the talent that they have, I feel like that is definitely not a good sign for the Nets. I don't think you really want to be seeing a team with 3 all-stars like what they have to be dropping so many games. And I don't think it's a huge concern. I do think the Nets will kind of get it together, and they'll definitely, I feel like, make the playoffs. Like, that's not a question. I don't know if they'll make the finals, but they'll make the playoffs. But I think the real thing is, I watched a video with Kyrie today, and he was talking about the Nets and saying that they're fighting against all of the odds, like everything is stacked against him, and that they're just being average right now. And I mean, I thought he made some good points. I feel like he was kind of calling out his team a little bit, but just from what I've seen, Kevin Durant is obviously out right now too, which can affect a little bit of that. But I feel like those three together playing at the same time might not be the greatest combo. It might not work out for the Nets. So those are just a few of my thoughts.
First, and I'm gonna say this. I think it's obvious, but it needs to be said. Who in the world thought that this team was going to be good at defense when they brought in James Harden? And that's what's killing them is they can't defend anybody right now. Losing KD for these last 3 games obviously hurt, but I'm telling you what, if KD gets hurt, the Kyrie Irving James Harden duo is not going to work. The only way that team works is if KD stays healthy and he leads that team. I just don't see Kyrie and James Harden playing very well together without Kevin Durant at this point. So him being out these 3 games, I think, is the perfect example of just a team without its leader.
No, I completely agree. I think that the Nets aren't in as much trouble as people think they are, and I wish they were in more trouble, to be honest, because I am not a fan of the Nets. I think Kevin Durant is the only player that I decently kind of like, and even him I don't really like that much on that team. But he's been out due to COVID concerns, so I think once he comes back, I think they're still the best team in the East. I don't think that they could beat the Lakers in the West. Maybe they couldn't even beat the Jazz or the Clippers at this point. But I think they are the best team in the East, and I feel like once he comes back, the ship will right a little bit for Brooklyn.
And I think his first game back is the 13th, which is this Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. So we'll see. They do have a big test coming up. I think, don't they play the Lakers next? Is it next week or the week after?
Let me check really fast. I actually feel like I saw an advertisement for it recently. It might be.
So I was actually doing some research on these guys, and one stat that kind of jumped out to me about the Nets is their record against teams with winning records, and they're actually 7-1 against teams with winning records right now. So is it the fact that they gear up for these good teams, and then when they play a bad team, they just kind of just overlook it, or? I mean, let's be honest. Work ethic, I hate calling players lazy, but work ethic has been called into question with these guys before. Not with KD, but the other guys. So does that have something to play into it? I don't know. Just get back, KD. Stupid COVID. I love Kevin Durant to death. I hated when he left the Thunder, but for some odd reason, I didn't hate him for it. That was a weird emotion that I went through there. But I wish the best for Kevin Durant, and honestly, just because of him, I'd like to see the Nets do something this season.
All right, let me weigh in. First of all, I think we're being a little bit overly dramatic when it comes to the Nets. Look, right now they are at 14-12. They're third in the East in terms of standings. And I'm not going to lie, I'm actually not super impressed with the East this year beyond the Bucks and the 76ers. I think the 76ers and the Bucks are pretty good teams. Other than that, I'm not overly impressed. But I will say this. If the Brooklyn Nets right the ship a little bit, get Kevin Durant back, and then go into the playoffs with, I don't know, a 3 seed or a 4 seed, are you going to want to play them? I mean, think about it. If they get into the playoffs with a 4 seed or 3 seed or even a 5 seed, are you going to be the one want to play that team in the first round? Absolutely not. You think about it. If those guys figure out a way to gel and play together, led by Kevin Durant, obviously, in his leadership, Kyrie's already said they don't need their coach, Steve Nash. I mean, obviously, but I'm just saying, I think that if the Brooklyn Nets can have some momentum going to the playoffs, they will very much be involved in that championship chase and a finals berth. I see the potential there, and I know a lot of people will say, well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work to have all those guys on the same team. But you know what? There was people that were saying it wasn't going to work when LeBron went to Miami, and it worked. It worked really well. I think that this team has a potential to be contender Western Conference Finals, maybe even a Finals berth this season if they can figure it out. Obviously, they have a lot of problems on defense. Their opponents are averaging 118 points per game. They have to get that number down if they want to be among the top teams in the league. But can I just say,
they're like 27th in the league defense.
Yeah, no, obviously. I mean, and offensively, they're fine. But honestly, right now, I just look at the East and I compare it to the West, and I'm like, man, like if right now the Nets are third, but if they were in the West right now, they'd be seventh. They'd be seventh in the West as of right now. So, I don't know. I do think it is a little bit too early to have a verdict out on the Brooklyn Nets because they really haven't been together too long. It's still a new system. It's a new coach. New players are having to learn to gel with each other. But I do predict that they will turn it around at some point this season, and we'll see them competing for that Eastern Conference crown.
That's fair.
I want to agree with you, Kellen, and I actually do agree with you on the potential of this team. But unlike the big three in Miami, the potential for disaster in the playoffs when tensions are high and feelings are easily hurt and all these things come to light is way higher with these guys. I mean, yes, there's the ceiling's high for them, but the bottom is low. So they're going to be an entertaining team to watch either way. I'm intrigued to see what they do this season.
They do have a better record than the Celtics. Let me just throw that out there.
They do have that.
But I think we better move on to our next topic because I feel like this is one that we're going to be it's going to take us a while to discuss. So the next thing, is Donovan Mitchell a superstar? I know that at least probably a couple people have some hot takes on that. So let's start off with, I think Prison Mike has an opinion. We were talking about
I get to go first so everyone else can get riled up.
Maybe.
We'll see Mike.
Pretty much because I have the unpopular opinion.
I'm going to put on my brass knuckles.
All right. No, Donovan Mitchell is not a superstar. He is an all-star. He is an all-star. He's a great player for the Jazz, but I do not think he is quite at superstar level. And my reasons why is I feel like we cannot put Donovan Mitchell in the same boat as some of the superstars, such as LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Anthony Davis, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard. I feel like he's definitely an all-star. He's an amazing player. He's playing really well, played great last night. Is phenomenal. He's the best player on the Jazz, but I do not think he is at the superstar level yet. And that might just be, I mean, stats-wise, you can say he's playing as good as some of those guys this year, but I just feel like he's not quite on that same level as the superstars of the league. And if it makes you guys feel any better, I don't think Jason Tatum is a superstar either. He's not there yet either.
Nice.
You can say that again.
What do you think, Jason? I'm interested to hear your opinion.
So the reason I brought this up this morning, and I think I sent you guys that article from the KSL News writer. Granted, he's going to be a little biased. He's in Salt Lake. He covers the Jazz pretty exclusively. But he put up some good arguments. Mike mentioned the stats that Donovan Mitchell is putting up right now are superstar caliber stats right now. The other thing we need to look at here is the Jazz have the best record in the league, and he's the best player on that team. By that logic, he's one of the best players in the league. Is he top 5? Probably not. But I mean, LeBron James is more than a superstar. He's elite. Kevin Durant is more than a superstar. He's elite. So comparing him to those type of caliber isn't fair because they're more than, there's another level there that they've reached, and it's more than superstar. So yes, in my opinion, Donovan Mitchell is a superstar.
Yep.
All right. Well, then that brings, like, what's the difference between, like, how many levels of greatness are there in the NBA? I mean, we got All-Stars, which is supposedly, like, we'll say, like, the 20 best guys in the league. Then superstars would be the best 10. What is there? Elite that's like the top 5? Is that how we're putting it?
I think superstardom superstardom is a process. It's not just something that happens. Like, you become a superstar when you've been one of, like, the top players in the league for a long time, right? I mean, there are some guys like LeBron, Stephen Curry. They've been at the top for a long time now, right?
But LeBron was a superstar the first time he stepped on a court in the NBA.
But that's different. That's just because LeBron is a once a generational player. Like it's not fair to, like, compare LeBron to a Dirk Nowitzki, right? It's not fair to. I mean, there's points in his career where I felt like there was a time where Carmelo Anthony might have been considered a superstar, right? But he's not even close to the status that LeBron is.
And that's what I was trying to say is there's almost a step above superstar in the league, and it's elite. And I don't think it's the top whatever players in the league. I just think it's the superstars that have proven themselves time and time again, like LeBron. Nobody's going to doubt LeBron at this point. Nobody's going to doubt Kevin Durant at this point. Like, I think that's what we're looking at is these guys have put without a shadow of a doubt that they're the best. And I think that's above superstar.
Okay, but here's my thing, Jason. And so going back to Donovan Mitchell, look, I am a Donovan Mitchell fan. I am in love with the way he plays the game of basketball. There are a few players in the NBA that are, in my opinion, as fun to watch as Donovan Mitchell. I think as an offensive player, he has it all. He has toughness. He's got a great shot. He distributes the ball well. I feel like he involves his teammates in what he does. Here's the thing, though. I do not believe that Donovan Mitchell is a superstar right now. However, I think that right now in this season, being the best player on arguably the best team in the NBA, and definitely the best team according if you look at record, he is on pace to become a superstar. I think that this season he has the potential to establish himself as a real, legitimate superstar in this league and somebody that's going to be really good for a long time. If the Jazz can stay in that first or second spot with Mitchell putting up the type of numbers that he's been putting up, then I think it'll be hard going into next season to say, yeah, he's not one of the top players in the league. The only thing is I can't really say he's even the most elite at his position. And that's kind of one thing that keeps me from putting him as a superstar. Plus, we haven't really seen him. If he was putting up 30 a game, that'd be a different thing. 30 a game with the records and the playoffs, that, you know, how far he's gone in the playoffs. But until he either averages 30 a game or leads the Jazz to a just phenomenal season, I can't put him in that superstar category. Is he an all-star? Yes. Does he have superstar potential? Kind of reminds me of like when Steph Curry, you know, he had that season right before they went and won the championship where he was incredible. I think they won one of their series and then they got beat out. But then the next season he came back, they won the championship, and yeah, he was a superstar. Kind of reminds me of that. I think that he's on a similar pace to what, you know, Steph Curry was. Because there was a point in Steph Curry's career where he was in the league for quite a bit before he actually became an actual superstar, in my opinion. So, long story short, Donovan Mitchell, phenomenal player. I believe he is a superstar in the making. but he's not there quite yet. Brady, what are your thoughts?
So I agree with a lot of what you just said there. I think that he is definitely in the making. I think he gets better each and every year. I think watching him this year compared to last year, he's taken a considerable step up. And I think the biggest area where you see that is his passing. He even said it himself after the game last night. He hit Rudy Gobert for a couple open dunks right at the end of the game, and he said that he would not have made those passes in years past, and he just would have tried to shoot it himself. So I think that's the biggest leap he's made up, is he's been getting his teammates involved a lot more this year. And I think the reason that I believe he has the superstar potential is the way that he closes games. He's the best closer I've seen in my lifetime as a Jazz fan, which obviously I didn't see back in the Stockton Malone days too much. Barely alive for that. But Donovan Mitchell, I was telling Mike last night, there was a shot he hit. I'm sure you saw it on like every ESPN social media feed, where he stepped back and then he hit a three, which I didn't think was a very good shot selection. But as soon as he let it go, I said, that's going in, just because it was under like 2 minutes left in the game, and it was to put the game pretty much out of reach. And that dude's just got ice water flowing in his veins, and he's a great finisher. He gets better when the pressure's all on him. So I think that's what gives him that superstar potential. And I'll agree that he may not be there yet, but he's well on his way. And if he continues at the rate he is, I agree. I think he'll be there by the start of next year.
Yeah.
So here's my thinking and why I hear what you guys are saying, but I remember watching his playoff performance last season, and can we not agree that his playoff performances last season were at a superstar level?
They were.
So,
you might say I'm crazy, but I actually feel like he's playing better right now than he was in against the Nuggets, just because of his playmaking ability now. Like, I mean, against the Nuggets, we saw him scoring almost 60 points a game, but they were still losing. And now he's just a much better playmaker. He's getting people open. Like Brady said, he's passing to Rudy Gobert really good. And I feel like he's actually playing at a higher level than what he was in the bubble right now.
And Mike, you kind of just went into the point I was going to make is if we were going to say he was playing at a superstar level in the playoffs, he's better now, then why not?
But I don't think he was at a superstar level in the playoffs.
Okay.
I will say this. I mean, if you're scoring like 60 points a game, that's pretty superstar-esque in my opinion. Like, I mean, I think putting up 60 points in NBA 2K is hard. So I will say this. Did Donovan Mitchell look like a superstar last year in the playoffs? Yes. But so did Jamal Murray. Like, that's the thing. Jamal Murray was playing just as good as Donovan Mitchell. And I think all of us here agree Jamal Murray is not as good as Donovan Mitchell is. There's a lot
Jamal
more that
Murray
goes into
also had help from Jokic in that series, though, that we need to think about. He's got a little more help than Donovan Mitchell has.
But that's not my point. That's not my point. My point is, as good as Donovan Mitchell was playing in that series, I think Jamal Murray probably outplayed him. Like, I think Jamal Murray looked like the best player in that series. And I don't think anybody would say they were the best players in the playoffs, right? Even though they were scoring a lot of points. There's a lot more that goes into basketball than just scoring points. LeBron James has kind of proven that to us. So ultimately, I think Donovan Mitchell has a great opportunity to become a superstar this season. Like, the way I look at it, he is on the verge. Like we may see him rise up and become one of the dudes in the NBA that is just iconic. But I just haven't seen it yet.
That's fair. I think that's very fair.
Yeah.
So to put this to bed and to end this topic, what do you guys feel Donovan Mitchell needs to do that he's not doing currently to reach that level?
Just consistency over a long period of time. He's just got to keep doing what he's doing.
Just continue to win.
Yeah, it's just the time is against him right now. He doesn't have that consistency of being a elite player. So if he keeps doing it, he'll be there.
Here's my question, though, and this actually does kind of go along with Jason's point. Why is Damian Lillard considered a superstar and Donovan Mitchell is not? Because Damian Lillard really hasn't been a guy who's won a ton consistently. I mean, he's won some playoff series and he's done it in dramatic fashion. Because I think we all consider him to be a superstar, right? Like Damian Lillard is a superstar. What did he do? Because what did he do to make himself a superstar without winning games and winning championships? In your guys' opinions?
I think it's pretty much just what Brady said, is he's played consistently for a lot of years. I feel like being a superstar is not just something, and maybe it is a little biased towards younger players, but I feel like being a superstar is something that you start to see over a few years of play. Like you can kind of tell when someone's at that amazing level over a few years, because every once in a while you just seem to get a player who plays unreal for a little while, but then the next year they're almost unheard of. And so I feel like just with time, I think the difference is Damian Lillard has played consistently and he's played really good for a while, and Donovan Mitchell can do the same thing. I think he will. I think it's just time. I really do. Like Brady said, every once in a while we see just inconsistency and some mistakes from Donovan Mitchell that just make me go like, what is he doing? But he'll get there.
So here's my question though, is like, if we want to talk about consistency, his Donovan Mitchell's rookie year, he was arguably, I mean, a lot of people were calling that he got shafted on rookie of the year that year. Okay. The next season, he leads the Jazz to the playoffs. Last season, he had phenomenal playoffs, and this season, he's right back there. Consistency-wise, he's consistently scoring over 20 points a game. This season, he's stepped that up even. So I haven't seen a bad season from Donovan Mitchell since he started playing.
I think the difference is a superstar is someone who can go out on the court and it doesn't matter who they're playing, they're the best player on the court. Like, and I know you'll say, well, okay, that there's no way that can be. Like, what if they're playing against LeBron? In my opinion, I've seen Kevin Durant go up against LeBron multiple times and look like the better player. Now, is he the better player? No. But can he go into that environment against LeBron and oftentimes come out looking like the better player? Yes. And I think that's the difference between an all-star and a superstar. When Donovan Mitchell can go out and it doesn't matter who they're playing, there's a good chance he's going to end up being the most impressive player on the court that night, 90% of the time, then he'll be a superstar. Because when Damian Lillard goes out there, he in his mind believes, and a lot of times we get to see it, that he is the greatest player on the court then. And I don't think I don't think that Donovan Mitchell has reached that point yet. I think there's a lot of nights where he's the best player, but I think there's also some nights where he's not the best player, not even the best player on his team. And so when he can go to that next level, that's when we'll see him enter into that elite category that houses players such as Damian Lillard, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, James Harden. Those guys.
That's fair. I think we put that to bed. We put it to bed and then woke it up a few times and then put it back to bed. So
okay, we're going to talk about we do have to talk about one thing just because we're not going to get a chance to talk about it before it happens. So we're going to move over to MMA. Talk about okay, can I just say, guys, like Dana White is absolute genius. Like he has his company, his league, the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, in a place that I feel like it's hard to build up. Like in sports, it's hard to build up certain events, right? Like certain matchups are really hard. But it seems like Dana White, every time he decides to do a pay-per-view event or an event, he's putting out a product that is just incredible. And there's another UFC pay-per-view coming up this week, UFC 258. Kamaru Usman will defend his welterweight title against Gilbert Burns. I want to hear your guys' thoughts about this fight. Let's start off with Jason.
The thing that sticks out to me about this fight is the fact that they're from the same gym. They train together. That in and of itself, I think is going to make for a really great fight because these guys know how each other fights on a different type of level. So really, if you look at it, the best fighter is going to come out on top in this fight just because there's not going to be any surprises that the other's going to throw in this fight. It's going to be the best fighter will win.
Mm-hmm. Brady?
I think we're losing Brady. Can you hear us, bud?
Yeah, we've had a lot of technical difficulties today.
This has been a rough episode. We'll move on to Mike. What are your thoughts, Mike?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't heard of these people until we started talking about this fight because I haven't been following the UFC very long. But just from looking at some quick stats, they both have really impressive records. Usman is 17-1, and Burns is 19-3. That's really good. And as far as who they fought before and what they've proven, I really don't know. Just from looking at some of the statistics of like body features as well, Usman does have he has 5 inches longer but a reach, and that could maybe affect a little bit of the fight as far as striking goes, but I don't really know how these guys fight or what's going to happen. So I guess that's my take.
Awesome. Brady, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Brady?
He looks like a sad puppy up there.
He looks so sad. I was there earlier today. I know how it feels. It's just a terrible feeling. Anyways, I'll weigh in on this. Look, I'm a big UFC guy. Like I the last 8 months or so, I've gotten into it. I think one could even say I've kind of become a UFC addict. So I've actually been able to watch Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns tape. They're two incredible fighters. First of all, their style is completely different. I would say Kamaru Usman, he's more of a wrestler. He really likes to lock people up and then take them to the ground, and he likes that ground and pound. Or a lot of times he'll go for submissions. And if you look at his record, a lot of his fights just go down to decision. I will say this. There are some incredible fighters in the UFC, but Kamaru Usman might have the best stamina of any UFC fighter. Perhaps, except for maybe Khabib Nurmagomedov. This guy goes to decision almost always. Most of his fights end in decision. They go 5 rounds. His gas tank is incredible. Gilbert Burns, on the other hand, he's a lot more of a striker, right? He's going to want to try to knock people out. I would say he's a kickboxer. Like I said, Usman's more of a definitely more of a wrestler. But I honestly think that this fight will come down to, look, if Gilbert Burns wants to win this thing, he's got to get after Usman early, and he's got to figure out a way to neutralize his wrestling, because Usman's going to put a lot of pressure on him, and he's got the stamina to go the distance. Gilbert Burns, on the other hand, he's going to have to try to knock this guy out, because if he can't, I think he's going to be really tired and he's going to be really gassed, and we'll have a 5-round decision that's ultimately going to go to Kamaru Usman. This is a fight that I'm really excited about. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of ready for this fight to get over with, so we can get on to talking about UFC 259 on March 6th. But I do think that this is going to be an awesome event. You got guys like Kelvin Gastelum that are fighting again, and I think that we're going to see some really good fights. So, looks like we lost Brady. which is a shame. Maybe you could have Brady come join you in your room for the C squared moment of the day, Mike.
All right, sounds good. I'll go grab him.
Yeah, go grab him. We don't want to do this without Lazy Snake, man.
No, we don't.
We're working on the technical difficulties. It's very difficult. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, especially since we're all in different locations. Trying to figure out this live stream format has been difficult. We will make the announcement, though. Actually, I'm going to have Jason make the announcement about what we're going to be doing next week in terms of our live streaming platforms. And
Did we finalize this decision?
Yeah, we have.
Okay. I wasn't sure where we were at there. So, guys, we're going to start exclusively live streaming on YouTube. We'll have the links and everything on our Facebook page and update you guys through Facebook. But we're really, really just trying to build our base on YouTube. So please stay with us. Keep watching. Just click those links and leave us your comments on how it's going. We really appreciate you guys watching our show. And we really just hope that this transition over to YouTube exclusively is just going to help us get to that next level of content.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's everything, right?
Yeah. Again, it just comes down to the fact we're trying to build a base on YouTube. And we really would love it if you guys could go like and subscribe to our videos and check out our channel. That's ultimately how we're going to be able to expand this channel and do stuff that, is more entertaining for you guys, as well as figure out ways to put out better content. So we're going to finish things off with our C squared moment of the day. Again, we're sorry for some of the technical difficulties that we've had. We'll definitely be working on that over the weekend. For those in the Rock Springs area, we will be doing a radio show on Fridays. We do those at 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 91.3 FM. And, yeah, so we're going to start off with the C squared moment of the days. I will actually go first. My C squared moment of the day actually was today in my statistics class. I was listening not to the teacher, and I was actually listening to Pat McAfee's show. And my teacher called on me, and she was like, "Kellen, did you hear that?" And I was like, yeah, I cut out for a second." And then she asked it again, and I was able to answer the question correctly after not having paid attention to the last hour of the class.
Hopefully she's not watching right now.
I know.
Man, come take my classes for me.
I did the homework afterwards. And got 100% on that too. So, yeah, no, it was just a good day. It was just lucky, I guess. But anyways, Prison Mike, what's your C squared moment of the day?
My C squared moment of the day, I'm gonna make it quick, but I'm really excited to go play some basketball tonight. We're planning to go play. I've played once this semester, but it's been a while. I just love the sport of basketball, love playing, have a really good time. So I'm really looking forward to playing tonight.
Brady?
So Prison Mike actually stole my C squared moment of the day, and I don't have time to think up another one. So I'm just going to jump right on that same wagon. I'm excited to go play basketball, good exercise, and I definitely need it because I'm out of shape.
Brady, you want to bet?
I did win a bet. That was a good C squared moment of the day, too. I forgot about that. The Jazz won last night. Prison Mike had to drink hot sauce. It was funny to watch him shoveling bread into his mouth throughout this show. So we'll go with that.
It didn't bother my mouth a whole lot, but there for a while, my gut did not feel too great. It wasn't too happy with me.
Yeah, I was going to say something about halfway in that you weren't looking so good up there, but
I think the problem is that Mike's about the size of a pea. And so
that is definitely not true.
I wish I had that problem.
Yeah. Anyways, Jason, what's your C squared moment of the day?
So my C squared moment of the day is actually the fact that I got to go in and get a haircut. I don't know why. I don't like the way I look when my hair is this short, but there's something about just going to the barber shop, getting your hair cut, just makes you feel like a new man. kind of. So that's my C square of the moment of the day, getting a haircut.
Awesome.
Nice.
We're going to sign off. Just remember to check out our channel on YouTube, Sports Fans. That's where you're going to find us on the live stream. And then obviously we'll send that link to Facebook for next week. But anyway, signing off. This is the Crimson Comet.
Lazy Snake.
Prison Mike.
And the Bearded Wonder.
And remember, oh.
KG.
Brother.